3, 2, 1. All right, everybody. Happy Thursday, June 20th. Want to run you through what I'm looking at on how you can use the volume profile to take your entries and plan where you may be able to get in and get out of positions. So I am using the volume profile on Tradeovate, and there are many other softwares that you can pick from to use this. Tradeovate is not the best, I will say that, but it's free. And obviously in trading, everything is expensive. So to get a free footprint chart, order flow chart, all those things is definitely helpful. So this is the obviously the morning session, and we have to zoom in pretty far here. So I'm actually going to shrink our screen off to the right and then zoom in here so that we can hopefully get a better idea of the order flow. So you get the general idea of buyers and sellers. It's technically supposed to look like this, but my screen is not big enough. But either way, I want to give you the gist of what we're looking at so that you can have some sort of a timed entry off of where we are. So let's do a recap of what I was looking at this morning in terms of levels. So we have the morning sessions high, and then all of these lines here are the prior day candles, highs and lows. So that's exactly what I'm looking at in terms of taking entries. And if you go back to my video that I posted yesterday, I literally told you that we were headed in towards a market sell-off. And if you look at the volume profile and any chart in general, look at these side by side, yes, we are selling off because we have a lot of rebalancing to do within this market. And this is what I want to show you guys and why I like to use the volume profile to help me with that. And as you'll see, there is still a lot of selling pressure within this sort of bounce that we're seeing off of the prior day's low. So we have somewhat of a strong push down, which is this candle here. We have rebalanced it and we're approaching VWAP above. So I'm looking here to see where we may be able to take our entries and or plan how long we can be in a trade. Do know that I'm not going to be taking any trades in this. This is strictly for informative purposes. And then I still am learning the volume profile with my own trading. So we're about to see and test the high end of this candle here, and we're getting a nice push above. So it appears that buyers are coming in strong off of this value area low of 20,200, and we're already up roughly 60 points on that. So what I'm seeing here, though, is that buyers are still pretty thin when it comes to these candles. So are buyers being absorbed so we can push down? We'll see. With this imbalance candle here, sellers push down to immediately test the top end of that range. And you can see that we get a decent fight between buyer and seller throughout these candles. So we're above the EMAs here. And this would be bullish for me to see if we're going to retest any of VWAP. But if we cannot close above this candle, and if we start to push lower, I would want to take shorts somewhere down in here. The main level that I am watching is down at the 20,150-ish level. So that's what this blue box is here, where I think we would have a pretty strong bounce, even though we did get, so this is the 20,200 level, we did get a pretty strong bounce off of, let's see, this was the 18th. So that was Tuesday. So we're getting a pretty strong bounce off of Tuesday's resistance at that point. So we have a doji candle up here. We're likely going to see somewhat of a press down, and we want to see how that all plays out within the volume profile. Not a lot of buying going on up here. Sellers are coming in to keep this thing pushing down. We have all of the EMAs right here, so we'll see if the pricing is in fact true or if sellers are going to win this fight and start to push us down. One thing I've noticed is that when we're looking at this strong push up, is this a fake out, right? Are the buyers becoming exhausted? I think that is fair to say, because now with this red doji candle that we had here, it was pretty balanced, didn't really know which way the candle was going to go, but we did not close above this pretty strong buying candle. So sellers are starting to push down here. This is the top of that range that I just mentioned, but the buyers are somewhat keeping it afloat. So as time goes on here, I'm curious to see if we're going to start to push down. This might be the final pump up. to enter short within here. So let's say we get short, and let's see if we can get somewhat of a push down. I could be wrong, could be a liar here, but let's see. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here, guys, so just hang with me. So now you'll notice we're back below that candle, but again, there were strong sellers and buyers up there. Let's see if the sellers can keep the momentum short. Now, mind you, my entry for shorts was at 262. So let's see if we can push below that, get back into these ranges, and see if we can get down to maybe the 220 area. So I would try to have somewhat of a take profit down here. And once this candle closes, I would have probably my stop above this wick for somewhat of a break even or a loss. So we're starting to see sellers push down. Not a lot of selling pressure. See, and it immediately gets bought back up because we can tell it was pretty thin with the sellers here. So I would probably stop out of this trade if we close above this candle, which is this candle right here. If we close above here, I would probably stop out and wait for another re-entry because we might be testing VWAP. VWAP isn't too far away. But so let's see. Sellers are strong, but you're going to notice the buyers are much more prevalent here. So that's what I'm eager to see what happens between these two, because with the EMAs, I'm expecting somewhat of a bounce. So in terms of a trading strategy, I would probably have my take profit for a quick scalp somewhere down in here with a longer full take profit down in this zone. But based on how these candles are looking, I think we're going to see somewhat of a flush coming up here. A lot more selling pressure coming in. Buyers can't really seem to keep it afloat. And again, I'm just going to mark out here exactly where I said my entry would have been, which was right here. And if we can get a flush to this swing here, I would take profit. Again, my stop would be right here for break even with a larger take profit down in this range. So let's see. Sellers are still pretty strong on the volume profile, but buyers really are trying to win this fight. I just think that the selling pressure is going to end up being too short. And here comes the sellers again. So I probably would have stopped. I probably would have taken profit within this trade already and then got out. We are starting to see some seller speed pick up. But as you'll notice, we had strong buyers right in here and the candle got immediately shot back up. So in this range, I would generally start taking some skin off the game. It looks like buyers are going to come in here and push this up to VWAP, especially off of this. So even though my take profit was here, if you're short from the top and you get down here to where this candle is, you caught yourself a nice, 15, 20 point swing. So definitely not too bad. And, but also again, it just looks like the buyers can't keep this thing afloat. So you can, and of course I'm not the most skilled in this, but you can absolutely see how using this volume profile can keep you in winning positions. Right? So if you're watching just candlesticks like I had mentioned and you took your profit here, that's fine. But if the volume profile says we're going to be able to push lower, I would immediately start taking my profit now. So we would have hit TP1 right here. Can we push down lower, right? So now let's zoom in. Lots of buyers on this side though. We're still seeing buyers down in this area, but the selling is just too strong. And then there's a big flush. So boom. Walking through this quick example just showed you how you can read the volume profile to get some solid trading and holding your winners longer. I think that's going to be the key, because in trading, you cannot rely on just candlestick price action. There's more going on behind the scenes, and that's exactly what this is. If you bought in this range thinking you were going to see a pop up, you were just going to get stopped out. It was clearly a fake out. That was indicative on this candle here, because if we go back to this example, buyers were very thin. Even though this candle looks strong, buyers are thin. What do you see on the volume profile? Plenty of selling pressure, and we're still pushing lower. So my full take profit will likely get hit on this example, but We're going to probably see this come up, get rebalanced, and then push down if I had to guess. A lot of selling pressure right in this candle. So it looks like the sellers are still pretty tough. I don't have faith in this candle. I think it's going to get pushed lower. Still can't get the buyers to step in to keep it afloat. We're already pushing back down. And here we go. So within your trades, guys, you definitely could have taken profit here. And I apologize for this being so zoomed in. But if you want to zoom out, it still paints the picture. Even though you're not seeing the exact orders come in, you can see where the pressure is and who is winning those fights. Because, I mean, it's ultimately a war between buyers and sellers, right? So as we zoom back in, lots of selling pressure towards the base of this candle. I would still stay short on this. Wait for one more push lower, perhaps. Buyers look to be pretty strong, actually, in this zone now. Maybe one little pop lower and you can get out fully. But we already hit TP1 here with the full take profit down here. So you could either add into a position, because I think we're likely going to have a trend day. And you could add into that spot, keep pushing down here. Looks like we're going to see another one come in, perhaps another flush down. But ultimately, you guys get the point. I do appreciate you sticking around. This is something that I'm going to be implementing into my trading to just to keep me in these winners longer, because that's one thing that I'm struggling with. And I hope you guys stick around. You know, please subscribe, give me a like, comment down below with how you use volume profile, TPO charts, anything like that to hold your winners longer. And I will see you guys in the next video.